freaks. I'm here to give Gemini Collective a read straight from the hip with lots of lip, and we're going to be looking at what's going to be going on for you in the love and romance department. How will you be catching that spring fever, and how are things going to be buzzing along? I feel like there's some kind of buzz around you, I'm picking up that there's some kind of quality that's awakening in you that has been absent for a while. I feel like you're getting in touch with your own sensual nature. Um, I'm getting like big art of seduction vibes coming in for you all. I felt really called to pull out a candle. I charged it up with Reiki. I carved in some intentions in the candle, and I am going to light it. It came in when I was, grokking your energy, just tapping into the Gemini collective energy. And this is for all significant Gemini placements: Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Pluto, and Saturn, because of the astrology we got going on right now. And we most certainly have to throw Chiron into the mix with what's been happening with this full moon energy that came in Libra, okay? That Aries and Chiron that was in opposition to the moon, it's about the wound of the self, okay? So I feel there is some kind of like healing that you've gone through. I feel like you're on the other side of the wound, to be honest with you, Gemini. I got a story. That came in for you all. And with these reads, I really decided I don't want to try to contain energy in reads anymore. I don't want to funnel the message into some like compartment. What comes in is what comes in. And before, when I did the love forecast, I looked at, singles and ready to mingle. And I looked at, cuffed up, those who were in committed relationships, and it's complicated. And, what it really came down to is there's some level of complication in all situations. I mean, it makes sense. If you're showing up to receive guidance, things must not all be flowing smoothly, correct? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So there's this piece, I feel like you've been doing the work. I feel like you've been trying to find the balance. I feel like you've been kind of in two minds about something. I think you're feeling wishy-washy about something. This is what I picked up. I feel like you're dealing with this kind of funny karmic sort of twist where the shoe's on the other foot. And I think there's quite a few signs that are having this experience. Like there's a lot of people kind of operating out there in the collective right now that feel like they really pulled something over on someone, or they feel like they really got away with something, and they don't realize that they're just about to get their just desserts. I'm really feeling this, okay? We are looking specifically at romantic love in this reading. So if you're not interested in romantic love, if you're not interested in hooking up with somebody, if you prefer to just like, be on your own, and that's not what you're about, then you're probably not going to resonate with this read, because we're specifically looking at romantic love. You're welcome to still tune in, of course, drop in, but I just wanted to set the intention. I feel like you were dealing with somebody who had this like grass is always greener on the other side syndrome. They got like a bit of a Peter Pan syndrome too. I'm getting this. This kind of like I'm forever young, which that's cool. It's cool in one respect. Like, yes, always keep a youthful spirit. But it's another thing when it comes to just like emotional immaturity, emotional irresponsibility. I think you dealt with some of these things. Like then this person kind of like behaved like they had just like, no kind of, no kind of intention to really represent you in your connection. Almost like you were involved with somebody who just like, you two had something really deep, you had intimacy and it was established, and you were dealing with somebody who was kind of like just playing it really loose, like socially. wanting to give off a totally different air, like really misrepresenting um, even your agreements in the connection. I feel like a lot of you were dealing with a committed situation. It feels like it's a connection, possibly like I'm picking up live-in connections, that level, where you'd really fused your lives together. And if you weren't living together, you certainly like you were spending a lot of time together, you know. You may still be, but I feel like there's this certain emotional immaturity. Like this person was just kind of maybe putting off a certain appearance, publicly, and they didn't realize like the way that they were coming off and the way they were presenting themselves. It really was disrespectful to you. It's really disrespectful of the connection. I think it hurt. I think it hurt. And I think you also spent some time, just really looking really deeply within yourself, and looking at the places inside of you where maybe you needed to do some healing work, do some integration work around certain themes you'd had in your history of your love life. And I feel like you got to this place where you started like getting more in touch with an old part of you that you hadn't been connected with for a long time. And so as this person continued to just kind of like, do their own thing, I feel like it was like that in some cases where all of a sudden this connection, it was just like the distance was growing more and more. And this person was more interested in how they came off to their friends and how they appeared socially, and kind of like how they came across online. It was all this sort of like um, overemphasis on like appearances, status shit. And I think you kind of watched. I feel like you observed, it showed you a different side of this person. And I think along the way you did start to really come back into that place inside of you that maybe you'd been disconnected from for a while. And it was the part of you that remembered, oh wait a minute. That's right. I have desires too. I I have desires too. You know, I have temptations too. I have things I long for as well. I have hungers. I have thirsts, you know? And I think you started to untether yourself. You decided, oh, I'm not going to tie myself to this post. I'm just going to start to kind of open myself up to this energy because I'm not about sitting here on the back burner while I watch you, present some false front because you want to come off like you're cool. As you did, you realized something. As you started to go out more and connect with new people and have different kinds of conversations that really stimulated your mind and got back to doing the things that you really enjoyed, that really like filled you up, that reminded you that, yeah, I have a fire inside of me. And for a while it was really snuffed out, but I feel it fanning now. I feel those flames fanning now. Fire is transformational, it burns away all that's false. And I think you have seen where there's cracks, you've seen where there's cracks, you've seen where um, things are a facade, where there's airs, putting on airs. I think that is the part that is the most disappointing to you about what you've dealt with in matters of love. It's just, it's poser energy. And you thought this is a real one, It's one of those things that, once you've seen it, it's hard to really get a different perspective. And just like that's difficult to see in looking at another that you once felt a very strong sense of connection to, and perhaps still do, but there's something that's altering in this connection, and it's because of a reconnection that's happening within you. And I feel like you're getting your mojo back. And the more you get back in touch with your true essence, the more you're realizing that what used to work for you isn't necessarily as desirable as it used to be. And so you kind of got used to this idea of the drifting apart. You made peace with the drifting apart. You're like, okay, it's cool. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to be one who's going to try to, force someone to hang around. What would be the reward in that? That wouldn't be, desirable for me, you know? Um, I think you got comfortable with letting go of the lackluster connection sexually, you know? You were wanting to feel chemistry again. You were getting in touch with your own pheromones. You know what I'm saying? I feel like certain things and waking up in you like just realize it's been too long. It's been too long since you were in touch with that feral, wild part of yourself, you know? I feel like you started to want to roam, you know? You didn't want to stay hanging around. You wanted to roam. You wanted to explore. You wanted to experience different tastes. You wanted to sample. And now you done it. Now you done it. Now you done it. Okay. You've done it now because you've stepped onto a path. You've stepped onto this path of the fool, and now you're feeling really energetically engaged, and you're starting to feel like, you know what, I don't know, if it's such a bad thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. Maybe I can get on this tip too. It's like, just as you've started to get that sweet taste of freedom and kind of moving into more of that expansion and opportunities for exploration, Now, that person who, was more concerned about how they appeared to others and, perpetuating their image and, kind of taking the center stage, um, getting all the attention, um, and, in all fairness, perhaps because they also, just felt like they weren't getting their needs. There's always two sides to a story. Maybe they felt in some way they weren't getting their needs met. Maybe they felt like they weren't getting that fire, that, attention from you. But either way, I feel like once your energy shifted, now they're like really wanting to be in it with you. Now they're really wanting to hold it down. Now they're really wanting to invest. And I think you got itchy feet. Bottom of the deck energy. We got the star. I'm really feeling like this star for you is representing that something happened in Aquarius season for you. Okay. Something happened in Aquarius season for you. It could have happened when that Pluto went into Aquarius, right? And it activated that 11th house, activated what was going on in your community. Perhaps there was a community of people involved in your situation. We have online activities when we're looking at Aquarius. Perhaps there was a lot going on within your social circle online, in relation to what was happening between you and your person. And there's like some damage that's been done. There's like some breach of intimacy there, there's something that's happened there that was disrespectful. And I feel like it's how things were represented in a public way, you know? It was hurtful. It was hurtful. I feel like you've done a lot of healing work around this. You know, I feel like you've done a lot of healing work around this. And where you were so focused before on the relationship, the connection, you know, no matter what stage of relationship you were at, I feel like you started, you know, thinking about what's my happiness as represented by the star here, okay, which is the brightest star in our galaxy, the sun. What's my sunshine, you know? What's my happiness? What's my joy? What's going to fulfill me? What's going to make me feel alive again? I need some light back into my life, you know? I need something that really fills me up. Maybe the person you were with, they have something they do that really feeds their soul on some level, and it also gets them some kind of um, attention from others. Maybe you're dealing with a partner who's in the spotlight or is popular in some way, or, you know, pick what side you're on. I feel like something about this is like, it's something about the person you're involved with is well known, you know, they're well known, and image factors in strongly to their presentation. And there's almost like this unconsciousness about how certain things were conducted, and the way that violate certain basic conducts of respect. That's what I feel. That's how it's coming across. I think you sucked up a lot. I think you tried to pretend like it didn't bother you as much as it did. I think you tried to kind of like push that aside, but you know, it's like it kind of was like this agitation, this irritation that was brewing beneath the surface in you. And the end result is that, you know, now you're not so sure how deeply you want to invest now that all of a sudden this person's done kind of like clowning around, or, you know, not taking the connection seriously, or playing loosely with the connection, gambling the connection, you know, in some cases, doing things that really put the connection in jeopardy, you know, just thinking that it's no big deal, kind of like playing it off. I got like big kind of like Joker energy is what's coming through. You know, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games until, you know, somebody really gets hurt. Maybe somebody was really hurt, but they put on a brave face, you know, maybe they smiled a lot, they laughed it off. You know, we know that the Joker's story, we know the Joker's backstory, right? The tears of a clown coming through. Tears of a clown. Anyway, you're the only sign thus far ever, I think, that I felt specifically called to make a candle for. And I'm going to light this on, I'm taking part in it too, because I'm like, I resonate with this. I actually have, my Saturn is in Gemini, and I also have a Sagittarius stellium in the third house of Gemini. So I really can relate to themes of this, and I'm going to call in this for me, but I'm also holding this for the Gemini collective that wishes to receive it. Okay, so I just wanted to light this candle for you, you know, so you could receive that energy and help hold that intention with me. If you so desire, you are welcome to say no thank you, and just your statement of no thank you will, you know, kind of, I'm holding that intention that it will exclude you from the intention I'm setting, right? It's all if you wish to receive. So if you do wish to receive, just say yes, but I'll tell you the intentions I have. I have, first of all, to awaken the wild nature, the instinctual part of you, the part of you that is willing to kind of buck tradition, getting back to that Pluto in Aquarius energy. Like, I feel a bit of a rebellion brewing in you. Honestly, this is the energy I'm picking up. It's like this rebelliousness. Maybe you're thinking back to a time when you were younger, when you were, a bit daring, you weren't so careful about the way you moved. You just sort of like went where the wind carried you. I feel like there's a little bit of that waking up. But, when we're invoking that like wild nature, we're looking at it as the sacred wild nature, the part that is wise too, that knows how to sniff out the trail that leads to fulfillment. And so, we're activating that, the sacred wild nature. And then the other intention I have here is to come into alignment with the path of heart, within and without. All right. And the third intention I have on there is to have the courage to make all things sound. So, in other words, to be able to look within yourself, recognize all that is unlike love, and have the courage to address it, to release it, to transform it, to make your choices from that place of love. So just really holding this intention. It's all charged up with Reiki. It's charged up with Reiki that's just really bringing in the universal life force energy, which is what Reiki is. You can think of it as ki. You can think of it as prana. Okay. You can think of it as all of existence, macrocosm. Calling in also a lot of just healing energy, and also healing that works with time, that can send healing back to the past and also sends healing back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. You having a back to the future moment? Are you dealing with somebody that you dealt with like back in the 80s? That's when Back to the Future was out. You dealing with somebody who, oh, that's really wild. Are you feeling like Marty McFly? That's very interesting. You might be having somebody come back around. This might be your wild card. Very interesting. Very interesting. Side note, this is like an energy that also sends healing to the future. Okay. That's interesting how that came in. And then there's also emotional healing. Okay. So that's the intention with the Reiki, and also to just charge up alignment with all these intentions that I brought in. So I'm going to go ahead and light this now. And if you want to down the road, when you witness this, afterwards, you can light a candle and, bring your own energy into it to hold the intention if you like. I'm just going to, tend to this candle and let it do its thing. Or you can just, sit here in this moment with me, and say yes to this. And again, if you don't wish to be part of that, that's quite all right. Just, say no, thank you. I just want to call in all of that support, call in synchronicity, call in guidance and awakening from within to come into alignment with these qualities for the Gemini collective. Okay. You have 2 crossing influences. Yeah. You have the Knight of Cups and you have this 6 of Pentacles, but I want you to see something here. The Knight, the way it came out, the Knight is going in a totally different direction. And while there might be some give and take in this situation, it looks like there's a couple of people here that are kind of just getting half-assed from this night, because it looks like his sights are set in another direction. He wants to make some kind of romantic offer gesture in another direction. This would be possibly somebody with a strong water sign placement, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This could be the direction they want to head in. This could be you. Maybe you are the one with a couple of, maybe you want to move towards somebody. But I do see that there's two people that are kind of being left behind, and they're kind of just getting scraps. There's some kind of romantic invitation coming forward, and it looks like somebody is leaving a compromising arrangement to head in this direction, or this offer is coming toward you that helps move you out of this kind of dynamic. This is a situation where there's been more than one person involved, and so each person is just kind of getting like the bare minimum. It's just really, it's been pretty disappointing. I feel it's just like crumbs, man. And I think you want the, you want the feast. I feel like, you're about to unleash the beast. You got that wild part of you wants to, wants to go on the prowl. I'm feeling that, something's waking up in you. It's stirring. And if you've contained it up till this point, I feel like you're not going to be able to contain it much longer. I really don't think you're going to be able to. There's some kind of balance happening here, okay, with the scales. This is like the scales of justice. We just had that Libra full moon. I feel like where things have been unfair, where you've been treated unfairly, it's like shoes on the other foot. This is about to get balanced out for you, all right? About to get balanced out for you. What's on the bottom of the deck here? Queen of Wands, okay, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I think you're discovering your fire. I think you're also discovering your independence. You're feeling like you're okay. You're okay doing your own thing. You're okay heading in your own direction. There's actually things that you want to explore too. In fact, I think that you're not even paying attention to this love offer that's coming your way. Again, it's kind of like reinforcing the story that I got about, there was somebody who thought that they could kind of just like take things, worth a grain of salt, just take things, kind of lightly. They were kind of just giving a little bit of themselves here and there. It wasn't really adding up to much. I think, it felt like a compromising situation because this person was giving it too many. It just was imbalanced. And now, you're getting independent, right? You're in this Queen of Wands energy. You're feeling very in touch with your sensuality. I feel like you're getting in touch with your sexual desires, your sexual urges. I think you're looking good. You're looking really good. You've been taking care of yourself. You're feeling hot. You're feeling your fire. You're ready to work it. And you feel highly independent. Like you're okay. You're like, it's all right. I can do my thing. Some of you may be very creative people, and some of you may be drawn to a fire sign. Maybe this is what's, got you looking in the other direction. Okay. Because we see this, you got this approach coming, Mr. Fly by Night is all of a sudden approaching, and he wants to get all romantic now that he sees that you're distracted. You're looking off in another direction. Yeah, fire will do that. Fire can distract you, right? Maybe maybe you got your eyes on a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? But I feel like it's just as you're starting to pull in this direction where you finally feel like somebody recognizes the fire in your eyes and they want to play with it. And now you're ready to kind of like go out there and explore and open yourself up to a new dimension of experience in romance, you're finally ready to kind of experiment, you're ready to kind of invoke that Lilith energy a bit. You want to rebel. You want to rebel. You want to take a bite of the apple, I mean, it's got big, what's good for the goose is good for the gander vibes, And now all this person is in their feels, you know, oh, I want to balance things out with you, you know. And I think you're like, let me have some time to think about this. You know, I think you personally, that's not what I meant to say. I think you purposefully, and maybe it's so you can personally explore, you know, what you really desire at this point. Maybe your desires have changed. Maybe you wanted what is being offered at one point, but now your mind is shifting. It's just like, hey, man, you left me on the back burner so long. I had to get, you know, my own fires burning. You know, I had to get in touch with what lights me up. You know, it shifted my perspective. I'm not the same person I was. I've grown independent of you. You were so absent that I just learned how to be on my own again. You know, and now that I'm actually really enjoying that, I'm enjoying being in my own energy. I'm enjoying being creative. I'm enjoying, you know, like feeling myself, feeling, you know, feeling hot again, feeling like, you know, I want to, you know, celebrate my sensuality. And now that I'm like looking really good and I'm not just hanging out in house clothes, and now that I got, you know, my own stuff generating, you know, maybe you also even got your money on. Maybe you've been getting the bag. Maybe you've been striking out independently. Maybe you've been, you know, doing something, working on some, you know, big creative project, or maybe you got some business endeavor. You know, you're leveling up. You don't need this person anymore. And maybe you lied to yourself about that at one point. Maybe you felt like they had all the power in the connection. Maybe that was related to money. Maybe you looked at that. Maybe that's a shadow aspect you looked at, like the ways that you compromised yourself and kind of towed the line and put up with certain dynamics because you're like, you know, I don't have the security, you know, I don't have the security to really, you know, make it on my own. Maybe you're discovering that's not true. I feel like you're purposely putting this person on a time out. I feel like in some cases you're not even connecting sexually with this person. You're running your own sexual energy. You got like your own, you know, your own your own waves of churning, and you know, I feel like you're really getting in touch with your own sensuality. I'm picking up like waves of bliss. I'm seeing a card in my mind's eye of a deck that I have. It's actually back in California. It's the Tantric Dakini Oracle. And I'm seeing that card in my mind's eye, waves of bliss. Maybe you've been exploring some kind of form of dance or some kind of movement that involves like a lot of spinal undulations. Like maybe you've been dancing a lot. Maybe you've been doing like some, like, I'm picking up like, you know, African dance. You know, they do a lot of that, you know, really like getting the spine going, getting that hip action going. Like I'm feeling this kind of motion, you know, or you're working with some kind of, you know, booty yoga, you know, something like that that incorporates like some kind of spinal fluidity. I don't know. I feel like there's something that's stirring up inside of you. There's something that's churning up inside of you. I feel like you're getting in touch with your own sensual energy. You know, some of you are, you know, starting to feel contact with your Kundalini. Some of you might be working with Kundalini yoga. You're starting to have a kind of a different experience with your sensual energy, and also you have a different kind of view on how you want to connect sexually with somebody. You know, you're not wanting just, you know, the typical like, you know, fun romp for the night, you know, kind of hit it and quit it kind of experience, or you know, somebody who's kind of like a selfish lover that's like they just want what they want. They don't really take the time to like, you know, make sure your needs are met, you know. Maybe you felt like it lost that spark or something like that, or maybe the people you've been connecting with, it's just been you know, take it or leave it. I think I'm gonna like cancel that date. I'm gonna order some takeout, get me some Chinese food, hope for good fortune in my fortune cookie, and you know, take care of myself tonight. It's got that kind of vibe, you know? And I feel like as you've been getting more in touch with your own energy, you're like, you know what? I want my own personal gratification. I cannot make it up because the Nine of Cups. Oh my God. Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups to the Ace of Wands. I have to say it. It's big D energy. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm ready to feel, you know, I'm ready to feel the magic, man. I'm ready for that magic stick. Like, and I don't want just a little, I want a lot. I feel like you also were dealing with a partner where you had two different, like, you had two different ways of connecting sexually that sort of like, it just, you had a hard time matching up with this person. I mean, when it was good, but maybe you had stronger desire, you know, you wanted more frequency, or maybe your person did, you know, you got to pick what side you're on. I really feel like it's the feminine in this situation. So, you know, um, it's the feminine in this situation that really is feeling like they need more, you know, the feminine's looking in another direction, and the other partner is now in a position where at first they were kind of like taking things really loosely, and they were enjoying exploring possibilities, you know, and looking over, you know, the fence at, you know, the other lawns, you know, seeing what grass they thought was greener, and just sort of like disregarding this person that had been there for them, really held it down for them. Now that they see that the other person's gaining their independence and they're getting their fire back, and hey, they realize they have options, and oh yeah, I have desires too. Now all of a sudden, they're like changing their tune. That's what I'm getting. But I see like there's some ending that's happening here, okay, with the 10 of Swords. Something needs to end here because something's been really dissatisfying. And I think there's somebody here who doesn't see it coming. You know, it's almost like they just count on, you know, you always being there, delivering what you've always delivered. Again, pick what side you're on, because I feel like it really is an either or situation. I do think I might be getting a little cross watcher energy in your read. So do keep this in mind, please. It's up to you to sink in intuitively to the message and understand how it applies to you. But I feel like there's some in this camp where you're the one who took somebody for granted. And you kind of like, you know, you didn't take it seriously enough. You didn't realize what you were jeopardizing. And as you've watched your person, you know, get empowered and really step into their own energy and start really developing some confidence and their own interests and their own desires. And now they're kind of going like, okay, you know, if that's how you want it, as you wish, you know, and you're left kind of scratching your head going, wait a minute. Oh, hold up, wait. I know it was okay for me, but we got to talk about it if you want to go in that way. I don't know if I can handle that, right? There's a little bit of almost like kind of trauma bonding energy, mirroring to each other the insecurities, you know. Well, now this person's feeling confident, the other person feels insecure. It's that kind of action, you know. I'm picking that up very strongly. Then there's the other camp where it's you're the one whose partner, you know, took you for granted, and you know, you did your best. You've done your best. You've given a lot to the connection, but now you're like, I have my own needs, and it's very clear what the needs are. The needs are sexual. I see it. It's sexual desire. There's this desire for, you know, sex, lots of it, good sex. Somebody here really wants good sex. They need it. They need it. It's sexual healing for them. I'm telling you, because they feel like it just can't get worse than this. In fact, at one point, maybe they really wanted to connect sexually. Maybe they tried to pursue that often. You know, maybe they even flip-flopped roles, and they really tried to pursue that connection, and the other person was just like giving them the cold shoulder, one excuse after another, you know. And now it's just so bad, like they don't even want to connect anymore. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, oh, what now you want to get romantic with me? Now you want to give me pillow talk? No, I'm good. Thanks. I'm good. I'm good. I can't even work up the energy for this. I'm sorry. I know that's pretty harsh, you know. That may be pretty harsh for a cross watcher to hear, you know, somebody to hear, but somebody needs to hear that. They need to understand like what a betrayal of intimacy that is, to just start dividing the energy, you know, how that can affect somebody, you know, to feel somebody pulling away and yet not getting any communication around. This was the problem. There wasn't any communication around what was changing, what was happening. I feel like there was one person in this connection who really tried to open up communication. Can we please like work through this? I need you to understand what I'm feeling. And it's almost like there's been this huge buildup of energy, this intense buildup of energy. It's been held back, it's been reined in because the other person just kept getting a wall of cold, just this cold front. Like, I mean, what do you expect? This energy has to go somewhere. It's fire. That's what fire does. You know, it blazes a trail. And like I said, I told you, this person wants fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is about personal fulfillment, gratification, and often of the sensual variety. It came in with the Ace of Wands. You don't get more literal. I mean, look at that stick. That's a magic stick. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel there is an opportunity for this. Somebody is offering this, okay, to this person who's been left out in the cold and not getting their needs met. They've been holding back their desires for a long time. They can't hold it anymore. And they want it. And they want it frequently. This could be somebody too, with the wands. Maybe there's been some sexting going on, you know. Maybe there's been making some plans to travel and connect, you know. I see a lot of messages going back and forth. I think there's sensual messages. And I mean, you might be dealing with a situation where you're like, you know, I asked you for the truth with the Queen of Swords here. This is your energy. It's also Aquarius and Libra, okay? So you might have somebody with one of those placements in their chart factoring into your situation. But somebody here offered the opportunity for communication multiple times. And all they asked for was the truth, to deal with things honestly. And they didn't get honesty. You know, they didn't get honesty. And so they decided, you know, and I feel like this is happening right now. They want to plant the seed in a new direction because they got somebody very tempting around them right now with this devil energy. Okay. They're also wanting to break free of what has become a very stifling situation where they feel stuck and where they feel like their needs are never met. All right. But there's some devil there that they're drawn to. There's somebody that they want them to plant their seed in them. That's not, it's a little bit of that devil D, okay? The devil is also a very sensual card. Yes, okay. It is about being bound to something, you know, feeling oppressed by something. But I feel with the Pluto energy that came in so strong for you in this wild nature waking up, I mean, I'm picking up that more like wild, uninhibited, free, wanting to explore, not wanting to be chained, you know, not wanting to be confined to some kind of commitment that though you showed up or the other showed up consistently, they were never fucking met. They never were met. Their needs were always on the back burner. And they're just like, I can't anymore. Not with him showing up. How am I supposed to turn that down? That's what I feel. That's what I feel, you know? Yeah, it's like these two sides are sort of facing off. These two sides are facing off right now. These two sides are facing off because we have the Page of Cups. Okay, so this is like some like dalliance. I don't feel like it's for something serious. I feel like somebody just they want a playmate. You know, that's what I'm feeling. The person who was left out in the cold too long, like they're wanting a playmate. Yeah, they know it's a little sketchy. They know it's a little fishy, but what's wrong with a little fun? Like they don't care, you know? And then the other person, like I said, you know, the other person who wasn't really willing to like fully rep before, wasn't willing to show up in the way that was needed, maybe to do the work, you know, to have the important communication and really, you know, get to the other level of this, you know, then you have, you know, this energy coming in now, you know, Knight of Pentacles. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm ready to make that serious offer, you know, that thing that you wanted, you know, what you've been wanting to grow with me. I'm ready to do it now. I'm ready to do it now. And so now, you know, somebody's in this position where they're trying to decide, okay, do I go for the commitment? Do I reinvest in this? You know, do I recommit to this? Or did I just, you know, say screw it? I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going to get mine. It's time to get mine because you know what? You had your time when you went out and got yours. And I kind of can't help it because, I mean, it might be fishy, might be sketchy, but you know, at this point, maybe I just want to have a little fun too. I don't know if I'm going to be able to resist this devil. You know, we have the King of Swords here, okay, to the Six of Swords, to the 10 of Wands, all right? This is feeling very burdened, you know, very burdened because, you know, they left somebody behind. They're starting to realize, somebody's realizing they left somebody behind in a place where they really, you know, they experienced a lot of hurt and they left this person in the dark. And they left this person with a heavy load to carry, and they're just now starting to understand how that shifted this person. Somebody's seeing something clearly now that they weren't seeing before. It's kind of like learning a lesson a hard way about what happens when you don't value people, you know, when you don't appreciate people, when you care more about things that are just about, you know, keeping up appearances or status or image, you know. Yeah, and somebody's really trying to temper their desires in this situation with the Strength card. Again, fire sign energy, so a Leo could be involved. Something could have happened last Leo season. You could be involved with a Leo, okay? I think there's like some healing that needs to happen in this situation. There's also something that needs to be brought to a closure, you know? There's some success in bringing closure, you know, and that'll look different for each of you. You know, some of you are in a process where you're really trying to work through, you know, the problems, the challenges in a connection. This might involve, you know, a few different people. There might be a Leo in the mix. There could be a Taurus in the mix. There could be an Aquarius in the mix. There could be a Scorpio in the mix. Okay. But I feel like you've been dealing with a very difficult situation where, you know, there's been no give, you know, people have just been very kind of focused on what they want, you know, and not really considering. I feel it's like how you've been affected in this situation, Gemini. I mean, that's kind of what's coming through. It feels like it's you. I feel like there's a small handful of you that it's the other way around, okay? You'll know what side you're on. I think this has been a really difficult situation, and I feel like you've hung in there for a long time. And I think, you know, it kind of feels like both people are just really tired at this point, okay? And there's a pause in this connection with the Nine of Wands to the Four of Cups to the Hanged Man. I think somebody really wants healing in this situation, but I also feel like somebody's being asked to go their own way for a bit to think about what they need. And it might even involve them maybe just like having a separation for a little bit, having a separation to kind of explore their own desires, what will really fulfill them. I see potentially a move here, okay, or travel. with this Wheel of Fortune. And maybe we saw this financial piece, maybe that was held back in the past, but I feel like this is going to free up more. I feel like this is going to free up more the finances. There could be some unexpected, like, influx of money coming in that makes this possible. Okay. There's definitely a directional reroute here. Something is on the move in this situation. Destiny's at play. Let me do a kind of a deck energy here. See what we got. 50-50. It was 50-50 on the clock, Hindsight is 50-50. It's like, yeah, this person's seeing clearly now after the fact, Yeah, and you see clearly now too. That's the thing. It's like you see clearly now too. Somebody is seeing where their heart really belongs, okay? And there is this magician energy here. You did have fire sign energy come in, so you could be dealing with an Aries too. The magician, when it comes in with the 2 of cups, this is about a resurgence of emotion, a resurgence of desire, a resurgence of passion, of willingness and willfulness, really willing something to come into being, wanting to revive a connection. Somebody here basically really realizes that they effed up like bad and they want to make it right. Some may even be resorting to like doing some kind of working to try to call this person back. If you deal with somebody who operates like that, or they may be manifesting somebody else, okay? I'm feeling this energy. There's some kind of resurgence. There's some kind of rekindling of passions and a connection. And this could be somebody from the past coming around and there's a rekindled relationship. There's, somebody's reuniting with a soulmate. Somebody's come back around. I feel like it's coming in for you. It looks like it's justice, okay? Big Libra card again. Ooh, with Empress behind it. With the Lovers. Holy shit. To the Knight of Swords. To the Sun. To the Ace of Swords. Ooh, and there's a 3 of Cups. Healing, celebration. Okay, so here's the deal. Big, strong Libra energy, super strong. We already had Queen of Swords come out, quintessential Libra card. It also represents you, but then we got Justice and the Empress. These are 3 indications of Libra. Here we got Knight of Swords charging forward. This is like somebody charging in. They have to say how they feel. They have to express how they feel. They can't hold it back anymore. They've been trying to restrain themselves and they can't. They have to communicate their love and affection. This can also be somebody who is like a mother, somebody who's like a baby mama, could be Empress can represent, Taurus or Libra. It's coming in with a lot of Libra significators. But it can be any woman that's really embodying, that Venusian energy, all right? And maybe you've come into your Empress. Maybe you realized ways that you weren't valuing yourself enough, the ways that you needed to really kind of like straighten out your crown, not put up with less than what you deserve, okay? I feel like you have a choice to make and you're trying to choose what is the path of heart, where your heart's going to be fulfilled. There's big soulmate energy here. Somebody is uniting with a soulmate. In a lot of cases, it's a reunion with a soulmate. We do have another Leo indication here. So some of you may be reconnecting with a Leo. You may be healing with a Leo. You may be having a resurgence in your connection. There might be some kind of healing that's happening here that's bringing a new beginning, right? But this is also about a second chance, okay? A second chance with somebody that really brings a lot of happiness. And it's because finally, like the facade is falling away. The truth is being communicated. I feel like what's really coming through is somebody is coming through with a big declaration of love. Like they're dropping all the BS and they're just getting real. It was 55:11 on the clock. somebody wants to come together with somebody. They feel like you're my person. And they also feel like, they screwed up, they screwed up. They're charging towards somebody to communicate their feelings and their desire to heal. I do feel like there's a sense of celebration here. Okay. There's a sense of celebration here. It's just the start with the Page of Pentacles. I feel like this is a situation that will develop over time. I don't feel like anything is going to transform in the connection overnight. I think that one party, though, for those of you who are reuniting, one party is going to need to take it slow, and they might want to keep their options open. I'm feeling this very strongly. It's coming through. It's coming through. Let me go ahead and just get one card here from the Super Awesome Future deck. There's a lot of people in this set that want to open up new chapters. You're ready to head in a new direction. And for some of you, it's a back to the future moment. You want to head in a new direction because you're kind of being called back to the past. You want to bring the past back into the future, or your person wants to bring the past back into the future. Okay. There's some kind of past connection here, and it's having an effect on the future because it's filtering into the present. Either way, it looks like for you, you're being led to happiness. Okay. Yeah. And it might mean you have to come out of alignment with somebody with this infinity in reverse in order to manifest, the person that you're truly meant to connect with on a heart level. Somebody may just need something more. They got tired of settling for less. I feel like they were put on hold for too long, and they're like, enough. I'm ready to be happy. I'm ready to go for my happiness. I want to have my time too. I want to explore too. Right, let's see. Yeah. And it's all related to a message coming in. And I believe this message is some kind of communication, expressing love, expressing feelings that were held back. And this is what gets the ball rolling. That's 16 energy there. That's 7. I believe that this is a connection that's going to be around for a while. There's further development with this. Again, 7 is Leo season. Okay. So just be looking for this to play out. I feel like first the communication is going to be through messages. It will build over time. And as it builds, something goes the next step further with this. I wish you that happy ending you've been looking for. And yes, I mean that in a cheeky way.